Hello everyone, how are you? I am saying hello for the first time in roughly 10 months. So it's been quite a while since I showed you guys a laptop since last time. So anyhow, so here we go. Hope everybody is well. Before we get started with this particular laptop today, let's get rid of a couple of housekeeping items. Normally, I like shooting these review videos during normal daylight because I don't want to add any different tint under artificial lighting. But unfortunately, today this video is being shot in the middle of the night, so I do have a lamp over my head. So it is adding a little bit of a yellowish tint hue to the overall presentation of the video. And I'm a little too lazy to adjust the white balance to compensate or anything like that on the camera. So we are going to roll as is today. All right, so as the intro said, actually, let's take care of one more item. So during the 10 month in my brief hiatus from uploading the videos, a lot of, obviously the comments are still coming from different videos or what have you. And, a lot of people ask me this, ask me that. So here, check this out. If you're checking out this laptop review video, chances are you are not only watching this video, but another guy's review video, another guy's review article. You will be checking Gizmodo, you will be checking Engadget, you'll be checking PC Magazine, another YouTube, guy that's doing the review. You're gonna basically collect as much information as possible to form your own opinion, to make that decision before you go unload your hard-earned dollars for a laptop, right? Nobody is gonna be able to give you a definitive review just for the simple fact that Joe's preference is completely different than Susie's preference, so that, one guy's review is not gonna be again, definitive. So the reason why I say that is because anytime I say anything negative about a particular model that I am doing a review video for, people who own that particular model get so butthurt and they leave negative comments accusing me of I don't know what I'm talking about, what have you. You know what? If a review video can only say nice things about whatever that's being reviewed, there is no point of a review video to exist. So I am simply giving you my 2 cents worth of an opinion of a product because I've already spent the money acquiring a particular item, and whatever I can add to your decision-making process, that is basically all that's being offered here. I am not here to sway you one way or another. I do not work for HP. I do not work for Apple. I do not work for Lenovo. It's simply a public service, more or less. So, you take away what you can take away from what I'm giving to you, and then you make your own decision. Okay, so that's basically what I wanted to share with you before I dive right in. So today we are looking at a HP NV17. So judging by the size, this is one very large laptop. I remember the first time of when the first generation of NV laptops rolled into my office a couple of years ago. I mean, it was razor thin. I was shortly after Apple released their MacBook Air, so the obvious comparisons were made back then. So, a couple iterations later, we now have the modern day NV. And a lot of you also accuse me of being an Apple fanboy, how I always compare something to an Apple. You know what? It's not because I am trying to do that on purpose, but when you buy a Ferrari, you are going to compare it to Lambo. When you buy a Mercedes, it gets compared to BMW. When you buy a Toyota, it gets compared to Honda. It is inevitable for a consumable product to be compared with something that is comparable. So in this case, that's why a lot of laptops that I review, I also talk about Apple and some other companies or whatnot. That's the reason being. So this particular model, I'm not trying to be anybody's fanboy, but let's be honest. Nobody is going to argue what this laptop is trying to look like. Yes, you guessed that right. This is as far as the exterior, as far as the appearance wise, this is dare I say, even a knockoff of a Apple MacBook Pro. Brushed aluminum body with the chiclet black keyboards and some of the other cool things I will show you later. It is a dead ringer for an Apple MacBook Pro. So why is the design being copied by this company and Samsung and everybody else? Well, I don't know. Maybe because Apple has a design that is likable by mass. There are minorities that don't like those, and I'm personally not a fan of every design they make, but that's neither here nor there. So the reason why design is being somewhat inspired by or just copied downright, that's for you to decide. So let's quickly turn the laptop around, take a look at what we got here, okay? All right, so on top you have black plastic lid, and it does have a little bit of flex, and I can honestly tell right under where I am putting a little bit of pressure, there is nothing under there. As in nothing's butted right up against the plastic innards. So it does have quite a flex here. The flex is a little bit less as I go towards the edge. Anyhow, the HP logo right here lights up when the laptop is in operation. And let's take a look at the front. It's so wide, I might not even be able to get it all in width of the camera angle. But here you go. So at the front you have speaker ports. That's all you got. These are two speakers on each side, front firing speakers. And when we turn it around like this, you have a slot load optical disk drive, and dare I say that's also somewhat inspired by a certain fruity computer company. And you have on this side you have two USB ports that are USB 3.0. You have mic and two headphone jacks, and the Kensington lock port. On the back, nothing other than just vents. And on this side, you got a slew of ports. So a MacBook Pro does with all the ports on the other side. So HP moved all the ports onto the other side. So anyhow, so there is your power adapter, gigabit Ethernet. Now from the side right now it doesn't look like anything, but that is a volume control, which I will go over later once we pop the lid open. Then you have the regular USB 2.0 port, and then yet another USB 3.0 port right here. Now then you have two display ports along with an HDMI full-size port. 3 external outputs for your video. This laptop will and can drive 3 external displays at the same time. And then a couple light indicators, and I don't know if, there you go. So you can see that the light indicator indicates that it's in a sleeping mode. And then you got your secure card slot. So that kind of rounds out the exterior, and on the bottom, very simple, that's all you get. So obviously, one thing that I notice immediately is that there's no such thing as a liquid drain hole. Now, it's arguable that those don't work quite well all the time, but in the event you spill something, and if it's properly engineered to drain out any spillage, it might save your laptop. So something like that is what I notice when I look at this laptop. And it is a hefty beast. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. It is a 17-inch laptop, and I did not weigh this, but looking at the spec sheet, it is about a pound heavier than 17-inch MacBook Pro. So that's to give you an idea of weight of this laptop. So let me put the power in and flip the lid back open so that we could talk more about the laptop. So upon opening up the lid, okay, so now we are looking at the actual laptop, and what is the first thing that you notice from this laptop is how stunning, absolutely gorgeous the 17.3-inch screen is. The resolution, it will support 1920 by 1080, so it will support true 1080p. And when you look at that screen, when I first saw it, it was very reminiscent of looking at iPad 3, well, it's called the new iPad, the Retina display. Even though that is not Retina display, the IPS panel that you get with this particular model is very pixel dense and just looks phenomenal when you look at it. The white is very white, and you know, it's just like looking for HD TV, right? You want your black to be very black, not very dark gray. So that's that. And a lot of people actually complain about this particular display, whether on the 15-inch model or the 17-inch model, where the red appears a little bit more orange. Now, that is one thing that I cannot confirm or deny for you because I am colorblind, so I actually can't tell. But that is a somewhat widely criticized factor of this particular display. Other than that, the screen, the colors just jump out at you, very vibrant. And also, something very surprising about the display is that it has very wide angle of views. So you could actually look at this screen from extreme angle and you will actually still be able to make out what the display is showing you. And then this model here was ordered with the 3D. So in the beginning of the video, you saw pictures of all the things that it came with. And one of the things that it came with is the expand. Waiting for camera to focus on. The 3D glasses. Very nice. I have a really big head, so this when I wear these kind of hurts a little bit, but it does what it's supposed to do. And the 3D presentation is, I would say, above average. It is very well executed, and minus a little quirkiness from Power DVD player, the 3D playback is reasonably stunning, and it serves its purpose quite well. So 3D display. What else? One thing that I don't, well, I'm not going to say I don't like, but the difference on the display versus like a conventional display, this has like a layer of glass on top of the actual pixels. I don't know if I'm explaining that correctly, but if you look at your iPhone, you could kind of see the pixels it almost looks like pixels are directly printed on top of the glass. Whereas this right here, there are pixels, then there's a layer of glass, and you can see. So there's a little bit of depth between the surface of the display and where the actual pixels light up. So that's where that is. So as far as the design, really nothing more than, hey, it looks a lot like MacBook Pro, right? So let's take a look at, real quick, I will zoom in and see if I can get you a little bit closer in there. Oh, a little too far out. There we go. All right, so the Backlit keyboards, they have, how should I put this? They have a really springy feedback. It is a little bit more struggle to go down, and it pops back up much quicker than compared to the Backlit keyboard on MacBook Pro. Again, I'm using that as a reference point because obviously this is inspired, the design of this is inspired by that model. So that's the keyboard. Now, the one thing that is the most horrendous about this laptop is that trackpad right there. The real estate space is quite nice, nothing there, and then the seamless design where there's no buttons or anything like that, that's all good. Again, the trackpad itself is also inspired by Apple's execution. And then you got your left click, you got your right click. That's all fine and dandy. Problem is, the trackpad is somewhat insensitive. Is that the word? It does not track your movement very well. So I could be moving my mouse like this, but on the screen, it's moving equivalent of like down over here. It doesn't do that all the time, but it does often enough where it becomes very annoying. Furthermore, the button areas right here, that's also part of a trackpad. So when you move the finger over to actually click, you are prone to accidentally moving that cursor wherever your finger is going to actually make a click. So that is something to look out for. So the trackpad sort of stinks. And then what else should I tell you? Okay, so let's actually turn the camera around a little bit. And we'll zoom in on the Beats by Dre audio. Okay, so this laptop is a what I call media center laptop, right? It's primarily, in my opinion, should be used for media consumption and media creation. So this right here is a good old volume control on this laptop. It's a dial, so you turn clockwise to pump the volume up, and you go counterclockwise to go down on the volume. Furthermore, let me now zoom out and get you to the screen. When the dial button is pressed down, what you get is the Beats by Dre audio control panel, where you can control different EQ settings based on your application. Also gives you fine control over your how you are using it for recording, so on and so forth. It has its own preset optimized settings for movie watching or music, that kind of thing. So it is actually quite well executed. It looks, the interface is clean and it's very well done. So I do like that, but it's a little bit more gadgetry than anything else. So we briefly looked at the speakers earlier, but on the top you also have two top firing speakers, and the NV17 also has a 6-watt subwoofer. But so based on that, your audio playback is actually a lot better than some of those other laptops that have basically tiny tweeters for speakers. So the audio playback is actually pretty decent, and you will hear through my camera mic, so it may not be the best representation, but it does actually give you pretty decent volume and audio quality. So I'll give that to you right now. That's a full volume. I realize that's not the best test for audio playback. However, due to the copyright things and everything else, I can only do so much on that front, so that's what you're going to get. Take my word for it, the audio quality is above average. Is it all that's cracked up to be Beats by Dre and all that stuff? That remains to be seen, and I'm not sure if that's why you should pay extra money for this laptop. All right, so let's move right along. And keyboard backlighting on this laptop is absolutely stunning. It's one of the better executed part. So let me again zoom in and I'll show you. You see that one button that's lit up right now? That is the F5 button that controls the backlit keyboard. So watch what happens. Now it has the automatic sensor that will sense whether to lit up the keyboards or not, but if you want to manually control, what it will do is this. Right now the backlit keyboards are, it's not backlit. Here's how you bring them on. Now, if the camera caught that, basically what happens is it lights up row by row, top to bottom. It'll do the exact opposite when I turn it off. It'll gracefully go one row at a time to turn the keyboard, the backlit keyboard off. How cool is that? So that is pretty well executed. However, the brightness differs based on the location of the keys. They're not consistent. So that is, if you're anal enough, where that bothers you. I told you so. So there you go. That's the backlit keyboard, which I happen to dig a lot. And the optical drive that we looked at earlier is a Blu-ray player, and it does a fine job playing Blu-ray discs. Again, a few minor quirkiness out of the Power DVD. Other than that, it is a fine Blu-ray player. However, it is not a Blu-ray recorder. The optical drive is just a DVD plus minus on the rewritable drive. But along with that, you saw all those ports, especially the inclusion of USB 3.0 ports, 3 of them, plus the 2 display ports and so on. So as far as the expandability and ability to connect to external displays to enhance your work environment, I mean, all that you will get with this laptop. Coupled with that, it does have Bluetooth, it does have the 802.11 and Wi-Fi, which you kind of expect as a standard offering. But here are 2 things that are actually pretty cool. Unfortunately, I don't have the other things to test this with, but this laptop does have Intel's wireless display capability, where if your HD TV will support, it can wirelessly display onto the other display without going through a cable, which is very cool. But also you have the limitation of protected content and so on and so forth. Also, it has HP wireless audio, which can stream this unit's audio output to ClearNet compatible wireless audio devices, whether that be speakers, headphone, up to about 90 to 100 feet. Unfortunately, I can't demo that for you since I don't have any of those devices. So that's as far as the display. I talked a lot about the display. I talked about the audio, expandability, the ports. Now, this is what we call consumer grade laptop. Therefore, it also comes with the Windows 7 Home Premium, not professional. So for those of you network administrators at a large corporation such as me, you can't join Active Directory with this. So some of you may ask, what? What are you talking about? Okay, so if you don't understand what that is, you can skip right along. It's not very important. But anyhow, the consumer grade means that, what am I trying to say here? Consumer grade means the components used are somewhat different, as well as the way factory default setup is done is somewhat different as well. So a lot of consumer grade laptops that you could buy from Best Buy, whether that's Dell, Acer, Asus, whatever they may be, a lot of times those will come with bloatware, where they give you a 30-day trial to entice you into buy something on the application. A lot of that, you get a lot of a video editing thing, antivirus offering, and all those get preloaded on a lot of consumer grade laptops. However, this guy right here comes with just about none. Only pre-factory installed things that are, only factory installed apps are Photoshop Element and Adobe Premiere Element, so that you got your photo editing and video editing covered. And it does give you 2-year subscription of Norton Internet Security. I am not a huge fan of Norton product. However, it does come, and it's not a 30-day offering, and you don't need to sign up. It's already, they give you 2 years straight up out of the box, which is very nice for a consumer grade laptop. So there weren't a whole lot of things that I needed to uninstall to get the machine to optimum operating status. However, it does come with a lot of HP things, HP's own like audio control and Wi-Fi control, so on and so forth. And that is somewhat bothersome, but it's not a showbreaker and showstopper. And also, one of my pet peeves, again, another thing that I get hammered on all the time is I always bitch and moan about, palm rest area having advertising stickers, whether that's Intel Core i7 or, whatever, and some experience enhanced and, all that bullshit. So the laptop comes very clean, none of those junk. So it's very, very nice. And then let's talk about the video display real quick. Not video display, but the video card. So it has two on board, Intel HD and Radeon 7690. So in the BIOS of the laptop, you could go into a fixed mode where you can tell the computer to always run on one of those video cards. However, in a normal environment, if you don't do that, it'll run its flexible setting where if you are plugged in, if the power is plugged in, it'll run on Radeon HD 7690, which obviously gives you way better performance. And then when you disconnect that power, then it'll switch over to Intel HD. Now what happens when watch what happens when I disconnect the power? It's gonna go. The screen will come up alerting me, and you'll also notice a little bit of flicker. The flicker was there, and now I'm waiting for that window to pop up right there. That is basically saying, hey, we just went into battery mode. Do you want to go into the Intel HD graphic mode? So obviously you can click the little tick box to have it not alert that and just always let it do that automatically. And hold on. So now we're on full setting again. All right, so that is, you know what, I believe NVIDIA one does where it's app-based, so you could use the NVIDIA high-power graphics for gaming, and then for emailing or whatnot, you could use the lower end of the display. But this is more, it's not app-based, it's more or less power-driven, so that is a little bit of a difference that I wanted to share with you. And then as far as the actual performance numbers are concerned, I'm going to rattle off some meaningless benchmark numbers to you. But before I go to that, you know, whenever I show a laptop like this, you know, always the questions are going to come back. Hey, can it play this? Can I play this game? Well, with the Radeon 7690 HD, you are able to play some games, but not with everything fully jacked up. Anti-aliasing and all the the 1080p resolution. If you jack up everything, no Crysis will not run. The frame rate will be absolutely terrible. Even during the 3D Mark test, I mean, some of the rendering was just horrendous. So that is something that I should warn you. Moderate gaming, yes, absolutely. If you turn down your Crysis setting where you're not jacking up everything, all the shadow detail, water detail, and all that junk, if you don't, you know, jack that all the way up, yes, you're able to play, but just be aware that you can't play on full tilt. So this model was ordered with one solid state drive, and that's where the operating system was loaded, and then a straight up 7200 RPM 750 gig drive for, you know, typical data storage. So some of the input output tests, it fared a lot better compared to regular drive. So let's take a look at it real quick. Let me zoom in there. I don't know how well you will be able to see. Okay, so there we go. So Geekbench numbers, it's coming in at 8,340, which is not bad. The computer has Core i7, 8 gig of RAM, and as I said earlier, Radeon HD 7690 XT. And the CPU score on PC Mark was 9,617. Memory scored at about 7,500. Graphics score right around 11,267. Hard drive score at 27,200. So that's for PC Mark. And then, so we'll get rid of that. We'll get rid of this. And then when I ran the 3D Mark 11 based on 1920 by 1080, obviously it fared a little bit worse than it would on a little bit normal setting. So I'm showing you those numbers so you can go to 3D Mark's website and take a look at its actual result. So that's the benchmark numbers. So with that, I would go ahead and wrap this video. If you have any questions, comments, please feel free to leave. And if you do enjoy my review videos, please subscribe. And within a few weeks, I'll also come back with another new laptop that we have recently got a hold of. So I will see you guys. Until next time, you guys all take care. Thank you for watching.